Good afternoon. Yes, I'm finally back at the Bethel Heritage Park. You bet. It's been several weeks, probably almost 3 weeks since I last stopped. And today it's really windy. But guess what? I found a very nice sheltered spot. I hope it's going to stay sheltered for a while. Right here in the park. I can see the wind blowing, but right here there's trees over that way and behind me, and of course there's my trusty bicycle. Yes, it's so great to be back, and so great to share. I'm not exactly sure what I will share today, other than I did have a wonderful trip to the West Coast. Wow. 4,700 kilometers on my trusty Nissan Maxima. Took 3 days to go down, 3 days to come back, and 5 or 6 days in between that I spent a most wonderful time with Lynn, my daughter, Luke, my son-in-law, and Oliver, my grandson. Wow. When you drive 4,700 kilometers to visit them, it better be good. And it was more than good. Years ago, there was a gentleman at the at a 55 plus seniors complex, Homestead South near Morden, and he I interviewed him about the food at that place at that time. This is a few years back. And he says, well, Harry, he says, let's put it this way. There are degrees of best and even better. And that's how I felt about my visit with my children and grandchild in Maple Ridge, British Columbia. And some of you have seen some pictures. And I had such beautiful, beautiful video shots from my dash cam, even with a dirty windshield at times. I got some beautiful pictures. Yes, I also made this trip a little bit of a memorial. I don't know if you can call it that, but I traced some of the things that we had done, my wife Judith and I, because we took that trip probably 10 times together, and I've taken it 2 since then. And so yes, we took that trip on our honeymoon in 1971. That's 49 years ago, last July 17th. And what a wonderful trip we had at that time. And then we took it a number of times later. We also flew down together on at least 3 or 4 occasions. And yes, I've been to the West Coast quite a few times. But the memorial ones are the ones with Judy, and the ones that we actually drove. And I think Laurel has been with us at least 3 times. Lynn, all of that, where we drove there and back. Yes, in 2006, we drove to British Columbia, to Vancouver, and dropped Lynn off. And since then, it's been really a wonderful time that she's been able to spend there. And so, yes, I just want to say thank you to Lynn and Luke for a wonderful ride and a wonderful stay. Yes, we had a beautiful ride to close to Whistler and had the gondola lift. Took it up. We also had a nice walk along the Fraser River and many, many other things that are too numerous to mention. Well, I just wanted to wish you a blessed Sunday. And from what I gather, listening to our pastor, Pastor Michael Sullivan at the Pembina Valley Baptist Church, even church is becoming a a challenge under the normal, so-called new normal circumstances of COVID-19. And especially when you want to do the right thing. But the Bible commands so clearly, as he said this morning, that we are to gather. Yes, we have all the technology, and Pastor Sullivan said, yeah, we can go 24/7 with the kind of technology we have today. But guess what? The Lord also commanded us to get together. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, he will be there. And so, and so many churches, there are still churches that have refused to organize in such a way that they can actually get together. I know our church has been doing it for some time, and it's not easy. So I pray for the pastors. This isn't the time to pull back and say we can't do it. Now we need to stand up and be counted and do it for the Lord, because he has commanded his people to worship and fellowship together. Well, that's my little spiel this morning. Thank you very much, Pastor Sullivan, for your message this morning. And yes, I even recorded it. So, folks, another thing I'd like to comment, and that is, we've had this warning now for 3 days, and I'm not belittling it in any way, shape, or form, but it seems like every time we have another weather event, somehow the weather forecasting system comes up with somehow to scare the daylights out of us. I shared that with my friend Jack Dawes in your one on a text yesterday. And he says, Harry, you're bang on. He had just talked to 2 or 3 women that were absolutely scared out of their wits, wondering what's coming now with this huge alert. Well, wind, yes, it's windy when it's 90 kilometers an hour. But in the United States a few weeks ago, when they had that inland hurricane, which very few people heard about, 14 million acres of corn flattened in Iowa alone, 500 million bushels of storage flattened, elevators in some counties flattened or at least disabled, so that farmers have no way of delivering their grain to the elevator when they combine it. That wind was strong, up to 100 miles an hour. You turn that into metrics, and you're looking at 150 kilometers an hour. We're talking 80 to 90. Yes, if there's canola in the fields, it's going to roll. If you got flax in the fields, it's going to roll. Anything you've swathed, unless you've patted it down, is going to roll. So, but at the same time, we need to be just a little cautious as to what kinds of fear tactics they can use. Right now, many people are afraid of fear itself. You see them jump when you're not 6 feet away from them, thinking they're right on the spot, they're going to catch COVID-19. You see them scowl, you see them do whatever. And some of it has to do with political correctness. The other thing has to do with fear of fear itself. And that, my friends, is so anti-biblical. If you are finding yourself afraid, start reading the Bible. The Bible has all kinds of things to help you overcome the fear. We do not have a spirit of timidity. We have a spirit of power. Let's allow the Holy Spirit to use within us his power so that we aren't afraid. I'm not saying you're not going to be cautious. Absolutely, you're going to be cautious. But at the same time, don't be afraid. Make it a positive cautiousness, not a fearful one. Well, hey, I didn't know what I was going to say today, but there you have it. I will be back hopefully in a shorter time period than what I have been in the last number of weeks. Actually feels good to just kind of vent a little bit, not rant. I said vent. Vent a little bit about some of the feelings. But you know what? I feel about as good as anybody 60 years old should even have the right to feel. Did I say 60? Hey, I'm not afraid to say how old I am. I'm going to be 74 years old on Halloween, October 31st. I believe it was when our daughter was 6 years old, Laurel. We had a birthday breakfast at then the Co-op Cafe. Yes, George, I wish you would never have shut down the Co-op Cafe. But that's not to take away from the cafe that's in there now. But we went in there for breakfast, and the server asked Laurel, "What is this occasion all about?" Laurel says, "It's my dad's birthday, and it's on Halloween every year." Well, I better quit talking, otherwise you think it's too long and you're not going to listen. Thank you to those that are watching right now: Don Klippenstein, Enrique Lowenboth, Donaldo, Margaret, and so forth. Thank you, and have yourself a great and blessed Sunday. God bless you, and you put your hand in the hand of the man of Galilee. He will see you through. Good afternoon.